I am very pleased that we're going to be looking at leveraging technology, the future of medical screening, because this really is pivotal medical innovations that we're bringing you here on the M42 main stage, day 4 here at Arab Health, and we are excited. We've got such a wonderful panel lineup for you. So without further ado, allow me to please introduce, and if I can ask them all to come and sit underneath their titles, because we want to celebrate each one of them one at a time. Dr. Nayan Hilal, CEO and consultant, occupational medicine, Holistic Medical Center, and professor at the UAE University. And we have a lot of British experience that we've been talking about. Dr. Nahid Ebenoff, who is the occupational medicine specialist at the Capital Health Screening Center. And Dr. Azza Atia, clinical geneticist at M42 Healthcare. And Dr. Andrew Jeremejenko, who is coordinating the seating. He's our medical director at the Capital Health Screening Center. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a big round of applause. And I'm handing over to Dr. Andrew to moderate this session.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm very excited about this session. Medical screening is something that I'm very passionate about. I was dealing with firefighters. They would get cancers, breast cancer, prostate cancer, leukemias, and we can actually diagnose them early and save their lives. So that's just one occupational group. But I'm now going to hand over to everybody here. We've got 2 occupational physicians and a clinical geneticist about the exciting developments that are going to help us screen for cancers, for diseases like tuberculosis, infectious diseases. So Dr. Nahid, can you tell me, can you describe the high-tech screening that we use and how it can further improve the diagnosis and public health and occupational health statistics?
Thank you. Actually, the artificial intelligence and technology have been used in the last decade widely in healthcare facility. Example like virtual meetings and also telemedicine, medications, and introducing the appointment system and self-registrations. Also in diagnostic, like in operative theaters, and also in diagnosis of the X-ray reporting. As we are in Capital Health, we are seeing more than 2,000 per day for screening of tuberculosis, and then AI technology can be used to reduce the resources and easily fast the outcome of the result. In public health, most of this they are using in the traditional hospital setting. In the public health, which we need community-based screening, like in the communicable, non-communicable disease, like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, cancer, which is a huge burden of the disease. And majority of those patients, they are undiagnosed or late diagnosed. So they need community-based screening from the public health side to early detection of this, which is reduce the mortality and morbidity of this disease. Actually now, with implementing of massive screening in the community, it can improve the outcome of this disease, especially for the cancers. And also now with artificial intelligence and high technology, this can be used even in the wide range in the area that there is no access to primary or secondary care. Then frontliner, that is nurses, midwives, or even social workers or community workers, they can use smartphone-based IA technology to screen for these diseases. There is so many examples in the market that now there's application that can be diagnosed, for example, anemia by analysis the images of the fingernail bed to estimate the hemoglobin analysis, and also for the arrhythmias, also there is some application to diagnose early atrial fibrillation by the analysis of the videos of the facial face for the client. At the same time, also for the cancers, there are some studies like Stanford universities, they make an application that it can diagnose skin diseases like psoriasis, dermatitis, and even skin cancers by analyzing the images and just highlight those at risk and refer them to the secondary care, or even for example, diabetes, diabetic retinopathy, the major cause of blindness, which is preventable, can be also used by AI to identify this one and use it. The same as in occupational also, I mean, a huge technology have been used to improve the workplace and also for screening for the employer, which they have less access to the secondary care or to the occupational service.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nayan. And it is important to point out that we're already using artificial intelligence at CHSC. We are working closely with the labs and using improving the tests all the time. Dr. Nayan, can you tell me about some of the exciting developing technology that you're using and how you think it will improve medical screening?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Andrew. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank M42 for this invitation. And of course, the hard work for M42 for improving the occupational health service in the country. And on top of that, His Excellency, Mr. Hassan Anwais, the vision that they have is really great. Of course, technology is important. And also automation is important. My colleague before this session, they talk about the automation. Actually, technology is really helping us to increase the capability of the service, in the same time to decrease the error, also the speeding the certificate, or also the result in the way that can helping us to have a beautiful journey for the candidate. By the way, the people coming to screening, I never call them patient. I call them candidate, because everybody coming, they're healthy, but during the screening, they're actually, if anything about abnormality, they can be a patient. And that's why we already used the technology since 2016, because I believe in technology for providing a proper and a better service for the candidate or for the patient. We did actually last years that we introduced the self-registration. We also introduced the smart registration and also the automation between the health software with all the medical equipments that can be speed the result. Also, the certificate can be in a proper time and a proper way.
That's great. Thank you so much. Clinical geneticist. I'm very excited about the genetics area. Can you tell us what you think is happening with clinical genetics and screening and how it will impact the future of screening?
Thank you, Dr. Andrew, and thank you all for being here today. So I cannot talk about genetics without talking about the Emirati Genome Program, which is a big program, I think one of the biggest programs all over the world, where we analyze the data coming from local candidates, like Dr. Nayan said, and then using this kind of information and data, which are huge data, for the healthcare and for guiding doctors, other specialty, how to do with the disease, if there is any disease in the family. So it's not only used for preventive medicine, but it's also used for diagnosis, it's used for prediction of the disease, and it's also used for kind of prognose whether the disease will progress or not progress, especially when it comes to occupational health. Sometimes we have to take decision whether this person should change his career or he can stay in his career. So it's kind of very big decisions that we are taking according to the genetic background of the patient, according to his genetic profile. I'll just tell you one story which happened a few years ago. I was consulting in Dubai, and I've seen one couple who came to the clinic because this person was married from two different ladies. He married the first one and he got a child with Down syndrome. And then he married a second one, and he said it's a problem in the first one. However, she was young age, so there is no reason for her to have a Down syndrome baby. Then he married the second one, and he has another child with Down syndrome. And then he came to me. I told him we need to do genetic analysis from your blood. And by asking him some questions, I discovered that he was working in a radiation field. So I did the blood test for him, and the karyotype came back normal. However, I said, no, it's not possible that you have twice a child with Down syndrome. So please go and do for me a karyotype for your sperm. Detect if there is abnormality in the sperms, and guess what? We discovered that more than 30% of his sperms are carrier of 2 chromosome 21, and that's why he has a very high incidence. And the second wife, she was crying. She was telling me, I want to have another child, but if he's down again, I don't want him. So I think genetics changed a lot in our approach. It changed a lot in the future of the patient and how we manage the case per case. It's individual approach. It's personalized medicine. Two patients who have the same condition will not get the same treatment because of their genetic profile. Even identical twins, they have different genetic profile and hence different outcome. So I think it changed a lot in our approach, and it guided us just from doing it without knowing where we are trial and error to a target therapy and personalized medicine. That's what I think.
That's a great case, and it also points out the importance of asking an occupational history. If you've got exposure to radiation in the nuclear industry, if you're working in the health industry and with x-rays, you have to ask that history so you can target the right test for the right people. I would like to ask you, Dr. Nayan, about some examples. Share some examples of how medical screening has actually, cases that you've made a difference, and would be very interested.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to mention what's the importance of the occupational health. We are talking all of us about the occupational health. And Dr. Aiza mentioned about prediction and then prevention. We have different of categories of industrial. We have from oil, gas, energy, catering, and others, which actually need us to identify for each category by introducing the occupational health. The reason why occupational health, again, I'm saying prediction and prevention. We have a lot of cases that coming to us for screening, and they are surprised. They have, for example, diabetes. They've never been ever screening before. And again, I'm telling you about what's the importance of the occupation and two early stages, as Dr. Azza mentioned, to identify the disease from the beginning. And this will help us and the country also to reduce the cost of treatment later when the stage of the disease will be, if we're going to be corrected. That's why occupational health is very important in our life, and especially for the workforce, is very, very needed, because this is what we can bring the workforce healthy, safe, and productive. Thank you.
And Dr. Nahid, could you potentially give us an example from your career of how screening has helped the companies, the people, their families?
A wide range of screening, for example, like visa screening, which can be TB screening for thousands or 2,000 per day. And this one using for artificial intelligence, it will be very helpful. That means it can diagnose the normal cases can be for example, if 90% or 95 is normal, can be categorized, and within minutes can be a report can be coming through AI, and then for those few cases that they have finding, they can be transferred, for example, to radiology for more detailed, evaluation. For the occupation, also artificial intelligence can be used in diagnostic tools, for example, in audiometry screening, in spirometry screening, and also in data analysis and report writing. There is a lot of, opportunity. That means artificial intelligence can be improved occupational service and public health at the same time.
Thank you, Dr. Nahid. Dr. Azza. I'm interested, I was talking about firefighters before and their high rates of cancers, and I'm interested to hear your view on how some of the genetics, if we had the genetics, say, of a Emirati firefighter, how it might help us predict whether we should be screening them for cancer.
So we have different panel in genetic test, and but the clinical features that the doctor is giving us in different subspecialty is very important for us, because each word has its meaning, and we can do whatever is required as long as we know it, and diagnose not only the patient. And according to our diagnosis, clinical genetic diagnosis, the patient can go for more ablative surgery, palliative surgery, or can go for treatment, whether radiology or according to the decision and according to the genetic test and according to the genetic result. Moreover, it's not only the patient, but all the first degree relatives, which will have a genetic test and can be screened early and hence have better outcome before having the cancer. And this is cost effective, as Dr. Nayan said, regarding the healthcare, because we cannot wait until they have stage 4 cancer and then interfere. It will have a very bad outcome, and moreover will spend a lot of money on this. So I think at different stages, prevention, diagnosis, prediction, prognosis, and the diagnosis, all of these stages, it's very important to have more insight from genetics.
That's really important. And I think that example of you get one person with cancer, but then you actually test the family and you actually find they're at risk of cancer. So you're not only saving one life, you could be saving 3, 4 lives from the same family. So this is a very exciting development, and the Emirati Genome Program, as you say, is going to give us incredible data.
Exactly.
Any final comments from our panelists?
I think we are complementary all to each other. So we don't have any more subspecialties in medicine. We are a multidisciplinary team. Being in M42 with all this network of specialties, which are rare specialty, most of them, is very important for us to improve our healthcare and what we offer to the patient.
Yeah, it's only one more that I believe that to improve the workforce health is the main topic that I believe everybody in this country need to also to support. Because as you know, we are going now to a revolution industry in the country, in the UAE. And I believe occupational health service need to be in that stage that can have those ability to take care of all the workforce. And I believe M42 can lead this revolution of the occupational health.
Thank you so much. Dr. Nahid.
Actually, my question to Dr. Azza, for the process of referral to the genetic screening, for example, for the local and non-local, how we can refer to you?
We can take it offline, but any patient, as long as you see that the genetic test is required, you just fill a test requisition form where you mention what is the clinical information, precise clinical information. He signs a genetic consent form, and then we do the test for him. That's easy as that. So it's like a blood test, like the CBC. I think genetic tests come like the complete blood picture in nowadays. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nahid. I'd like to thank all of you for listening. I think you can see that there's going to be a lot of changes in the future when it comes to medical screening. It's actually really exciting, and we are actually going to save lives. And that's why I'm so excited to be able to share that information and for the panelists to give their own experiences of what the difference they are making. And we can even, as Dr. Nahid, not Dr. Nahid, as Dr. Nayan has said, you know, M42 can lead this. We can actually be the leaders, and we can actually help save a lot of lives and lead occupational medicine into the future.
Dr. Andrew, you have everything. M42 have everything right now, one platform, and all the specialty. Dr. As I mentioned that we are a team. The whole specialty can be really, really driven to the future. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from the audience? We've got 50 seconds.
Just 10 seconds. I'm Dr. Azam Kayase, working on microbiome. Did microbiome will change the phenotyping of Down syndrome in the future? Thank you very much.
Exactly. There are recent studies, not only for Down syndrome, but for a lot of, especially autoimmune diseases, we get to know that the microbiome is very important to analyze to improve the gut health, and hence improving the autoimmune diseases, even for cancer, because patients with cancer, they are getting chemotherapy or radiotherapy, so they need to follow a special diet to improve their gut health and to improve their immunity as well, because we know that immunity is mandatory to fight the cancer. So it's not only about a patient with genetic conditions, but even for everyone, I would recommend doing microbiome analysis and do it every 6 months or 1 year.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the panelists, and thank you to our guests.